Natural hazards. Volcanoes and earthquakes mainly occur along plate boundaries, where magma can escape from the Earth's mantle, or where stresses build up between two plates rubbing together. An exception excludes plates over hotspots. Constructive margins, where two moving apart in opposite directions. Convection currents move in opposite directions, caused by the intense heat of the Earth's interior. In the mantle, move two plates apart. Leaves cracks and fissures, lines of weakness, allows magma from the mantle to escape from highly pressurized interior of a planet. Magma fills the gap and eventually erupts in the surface and cools as new land. This creates huge ridges of undersea mountains and volcanoes, poke above the level of the sea. Islands are created. Earthquakes and volcanoes can result from these margins. Earthquakes caused by the movement of magma through the crust are really result of these margins. Earthquakes caused by movement of magma. A really good example of this is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, where Eurasian plate moves away from the North American plate at the rate of around 4 cm per year. Iceland dates existence as ridge. Here's constructed plate margin, just to do that diagram. Divergent, destructive, or convergent. So constructive is divergent and destructive is a convergent plate margin. Example is the Andes Mountain in South America. Here's an example. Two plates move together, and destruction of some of the Earth's crust results. An oceanic plate is pushed towards a continental plate, so denser and less dense, by convection currents deep within the Earth's interior. Oceanic plate subductive, pushed under the continental plate, which is called a subduction zone, creating a deep ocean trench. Oceanic crust sinks down into the mantle because it is denser. As it descends, friction increasing pressure and heat from the mantle melts the plate. Molten material works its way up through the continental crust, through fissures and cracks in the crust to collect magma in chambers. This is some distance from the margin, where magma can eventually re-emerge at the surface to create a range of mountains. Movement of the plates grinding past one another can create earthquakes. When one plate eventually slips past the other, releasing seismic energy. Examples of destructive plate margins are the west coast of Americas and Japan, where the Philippine Sea plate is pushed under the Eurasian plate. So reduce the impact of volcanoes, so prediction. Technological advances are making it easy to predict volcanic eruptions. Satellites monitor the temperature and shape of the active volcanoes. Sensors measure levels of sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide gas. Seismometers record earthquakes as magma rises to fill the volcano. Tiltmeter records any change in the shape of a volcano. Volcanoes can be studied similar to an organ pipe for the increase of pressure prior to eruption. Preparation, being able to predict volcanic eruptions makes it easier to prepare for them. Hazard maps are drawn up to show areas at risk. People are evacuated to safe areas. Lahar sirens. Lava flows may be diverted by spraying them with water or even bombing them. Emergency services can be trained to be ready for an eruption to deal with injuries and deaths. Emergency supplies can be get ready, such as food. And number 3, planning. Evacuation plan strategies. Authorities and emergency services need to prepare emergency shelter and food supplies. Establishing and setting up of exclusion zones, warning systems, for example Mount Rainier, nearby settlements having Lahar sirens, educate residents about preventing unnecessary injury, for example do's and don'ts, hazard maps to reflect high risk areas and restrict certain land uses. So, Nepal, 25th of April 2015, magnitude 7.9. Primary effects, 8,841 people killed, 12,000 injured, 700 schools and 26 hospitals destroyed. 1.4 million people needed food and water, cost $5 billion. Secondary effects, 3 million homeless, landslides and avalanches blocked roads, landslides and risk of flooding, evacuations, loss of income from tourism, food shortages. Immediate responses, international help requested, helicopters rescue people on Mount Everest. 500 tents provided, field hospitals set up, free telephone calls, long-term responses, lakes and valley cleared of landslide material to avoid flooding, strict building controls enforced, new trekking routes opened to Mount Everest and permits extended. $247 million of aid money raised. Chile, 27th April 2010, magnitude 8.8. Effects, 500 people killed, 12,000 injured, 220,000 homes, 4,500 schools, 56 hospitals destroyed, 53 ports and Santiago airport damaged. Lost power, water supplies and communication, cost $30 billion. Or, as an interim, watch how to answer geography 4, 6 and 9 marker and history source questions, how to answer those. Secondary effects, 1,500 kilometres of roads damage, landslides, remote communities cut off for many days, coastal towns hit by tsunami waves, fire at chemical plant near Santiago, tourism industries hit hard, $1 million lost in wine industry. Immediate responses, emergency services arrived quickly, temporary repairs made to Route 5 North-South Highway in 24 hours. Within 10 days, 90% of homes had water and power restored, $60 million raised. Long-term responses, 1 month later, government launched rehousing plan to help 200,000 households. Economy could be rebuilt based on copper exports rather than international aid. Took Europe 4 years to fully recover. Primary and secondary effects. Primary effects of an earthquake, the immediate impacts of ground shaking. Secondary effects happen later on as a result of primary effects. Primary effects, buildings and bridges collapse, homes are destroyed, people injured or killed by collapsed buildings and falling debris, roads, railways, ports and airports damaged, electricity cables, gas, water pipes, communication networks damaged, cutting off supplies. Secondary effects, earthquakes can trigger landslides, tsunamis, destroy more buildings, can cause more injuries and deaths, leaking gas can be ignited, starting fires. People left homeless and could die from cold, for example. Shortage of clean water and lack of proper sanitation makes it easier for diseases to spread. Blocked or destroyed road, aid and emergency vehicles can't get through and trade is difficult. Businesses are damaged or destroyed, causing unemployment and loss of income. Tourists can be put off visiting the area, making the economy worse. Repairs and reconstruction are very expensive, so can weaken the country's economy.